I think it's fair to say when it comes to Far Cry 6, in fact when it comes to any of the games that I generally play on this channel, stealth, well, it's not my default setting, it's in fact not my strong suit. However, we are going to try and rectify that today and give you a little bit of a stealth guide for Far Cry 6. Hope you're going to enjoy it, let's do it! So firstly, I have no idea why I chose this footage to talk to you about stealth, but anyway, it is what it is. What I thought I would do is I'm going to take you through a whole lot of objects, gear, weapons, etc. that you could potentially use for stealth in Far Cry 6. I'll show you some techniques that I personally use, and I'll leave it up to you how you want to use these in your own game. So without further ado, let's dive into it and see how we can stealth in Far Cry 6. So what I thought we should do is start off with gear and clothing, where it'll give you an advantage. So the headgear, I really haven't found anything that that really works with stealth, so I generally have something that's going to help me with kind of armor defense, but I really haven't found anything with the headgear at this point that I've unlocked, at least, that will give me an advantage. If there is something, probably this one is the best one. The headshot kills refund a round, but really doesn't relate too much to stealth. Anything that has, if you're doing maybe a melee character, that one might be enables takedowns on alerted enemies, but you don't want alert enemies, so the kind of headgear is up to you. Certainly the body or the chest gear, Alua's heart, you can see that reduces movement noise, absolutely essential. Now Alua's heart gear you will get by following the treasure hunt to unlock Aluso the Panther. Now if you're not sure how to do that, I have a full guide on that, and I'll leave a thumb up in the on the screen at some point while I'm talking about now. So Alua's heart for the chest gear, for your pants, your leg gear, again Oko's deliverance, improves weapon damage to enemies below you, and again that's through the Aluso quest that you'll get this. Memos Abos's Mirage for the foot gear, again another Aluso quest, but you can see it reduces movement noise. And then with the wrist gear, I would highly recommend Techmaster Band, because it improves your ability to disable alarms, and disabling alarms is a key when you're trying to get into a base and liberate it or whatever, or not alert people. So that's the gear that I would recommend that you use for this playthrough. That will give you the most potential to be stealthy and not alert enemies to your presence. So what that's going to enable you to do is actually sneak in and do melee kills like we're about to do to this sniper, like this. Without him detecting you, without him knowing you're there. Very, very simple, easy to do, and yeah, you're completely off the radar when you're doing it. So the next technique I want to share with you involves a pistol, and it has the pistol set up. We'll hop into the light here so you can see us. It involves the pistol set up in a certain way. So let me show you how I have my pistol set up, and it will explain a few things. So I have the 911. It really doesn't matter what pistol you have, as long as you have one of the normal pistols so that you can modify it, and that's extremely important. So you can see I've got this modified, and the key to this is an ammunition type that you don't hear a lot about, but it's very effective, and that is the poisoned damage rounds over time. It can cause poison enemies to turn on each other, and I also have a silencer, a level 2 suppressor. Get the highest suppressor level that you can, and it will help from overheating, reducing weapon noise, etc. So that's the most important thing. I like to have a optic on it, but it's up to you what you want to do. And then I'd recommend that you have trigger discipline on it, which improves aimed weapon damage. So it improves damage. What you want, the two key things for this setup is, number one, the poisoned ammo. Number two, the most damage that you can get. So find the damage that has the pistol that has the most damage, and run those two mods. And plus a suppressor to keep you off the radar. Anything else is a bonus. I just run extended mags because why not? Now the thing with this setup is I've also added a pointer socket onto this, laser pointer socket, so that the bullet spread is less of a problem. So the big thing about this setup is basically being able to do damage real quickly, and having a gun that's fairly balanced as far as handling and stealth and damage is concerned. You want to do it fairly quickly and stealthily. I've looked at some of the other pistols that I have, and you can see they're not as good at handling and stealth wise, but again, it's up to you. You could possibly, potentially use some of the auto pistols for this, but again, just find the balance of weapon that kind of works for you. I've kind of landed on the 911, and it kind of sort of works for me. Of course, you could have a better suppressor on it, etc. The effective range isn't going to matter because we're going to be up and close and personal with this. Now, the second thing that you have to, I'd pretty much recommend that you have when you're doing this, is that you need to have a LOSO as your companion, and I'll show you why when I show you the technique, but it is very key that you have a LOSO as your amigo companion to get this to work properly. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example how I work with the pistol with poison ammo and a LOSO. So here is an enemy here. Let's shoot him a couple of times, then we're going to direct a LOSO onto him nice and quietly. That weakens him enough for a LOSO to take him down and kill him. There we go, he's gone. So you can very successfully sneak into bases with this this strategy. And again, we've done it to sniper. Couple of hits and let a LOSO deal with them. You can also take these critters, these massive big critters here, down, doing the same thing if you need to. It just weakens them, it stuns them. And if it runs out, then you just hit them with a couple more. And they are no longer a huge risk. Now you can see the sniper's gone. LOSO was able to take care of that. And so you can just work your way through the bases using this kind of stealthy approach. And yeah, being pretty effective at, not getting on the roof, but being pretty effective at clearing bases. Here again, I'm going to hit this last guy. He's gone down. Send a LOSO in and sit back and watch the fun. And it hasn't triggered anybody. It hasn't done anything. So that's one approach that you can use using your pistol. Okay, so moving on to a more traditional approach to kind of stealth and staying off the radar. I would suggest some of the sniper rifles in this game are a little bit weak sauce. So I'd suggest you either get yourself a 308 carbine, or my high recommendation is to get the MBP 50. Now, you've seen the alternative weapon called the El Terrano. It's the same rifle is the El Tirano MVP50. It is a bit pricey, but if you want to stealth and you want to stealth well, this is well worth investing in. And how I suggest you set it up is armor piercing rounds, obviously the best suppressor you can grab. I use this Resolver Sniper Scope Mark II, and I love it because it's a 6 times to 10 times scope, but I would suggest you get at least a 10 times scope. I don't like this side sight, so I never use it. And then get the best laser pointer upgrade that you can get. Now I'm probably going to upgrade this to the highest shortly. And then the other main thing in the mods is the weapon, the one that improves weapon damage from enemies that are below, which makes a heck of a lot of sense when you are using a sniper rifle. Now, if you want a mirror ball on your sniper rifle, go ahead and purchase it, and it looks rather nice. But that's kind of how I would set mine up, and this thing will absolutely shred people as long as you're headshotting them. But with the laser pointer and the few things that I've got on it, it makes it an absolute laser beam. Really, really accurate. So we're going to take over a base with this method, and just one extra little tip: find the computer above the base somewhere, and it will help you a lot because it will identify all the electronics that you need to take out once you activate. Thanks, Mikey, for that tip. He was the one that put me onto this, and you can see everything that's electronic is now showing up, which means that you can shoot at the alarm real easy. Now, for some reason, my red dot wasn't showing up straight away when I was doing this, so you can see it's back now. And yeah, just use a Lusso and your suppressed sniper. I've taken out the alarm, and so even though I'm shooting, they don't know exactly where I am, so I can just sit back and just pick them off. And yeah, they're not alerting anybody, they're not bringing any reinforcements in, and I can just sit back on the rock here, let Aluso do his work. Even if I miss a headshot, I'm injuring them enough where Aluso's going to take them down. And yeah, we can just pick off each one of these guys. Just make sure we're not missing anybody. Take your time. The Lusso goes off here, so they got headshot, other headshot, one more guy to go. He's in there. I'm going to just send a Lusso onto him, and we're going to go down and support him if we need to. And you're going to see we do this without any alarms. There we go. And get bonus points. You'll see what I'm talking about in a sec. Here we go. Captured. In full stealth mode. No alarms and undetected. 2 bonus resources. So there's 2 more things I want to kind of show you. Get away from these noisy people because everybody wants to talk to Danny for some reason. 2 more things that I want to show you that you might consider using. So the first one is attached to your Supremo. Now, you need to go to a workbench to do this, but what I suggest you do is that you pick up this perception grenade that tags nearby enemies, and we'll show you it in action in a second. But this can help you a heck of a lot to identify your targets. So we'll cut to the footage now. So it's always better to stealth at night, of course, but I'm going to chuck this grenade over the fence here, and you see what it does. It makes life a heck of a lot easier. Now you can see the outline just there, the outline of the enemies. I know exactly where everybody is in the immediate area now. This is a checkpoint I'm taking over, so I can mark one for Aloso to go after, and then I can pick off another one there. Bang. Aloso's got one down there. also can have that. Lieutenant Aguero, just ignore the bad sniping here, but I do keep him busy and away from the alarm, which is the important part. And Alonso will come and finish him off in a second. And yeah, the alarm hasn't been triggered, and we've taken over this checkpoint very easily using that a combination of the different techniques with the addition of the perception grenade. And secondly, the think about using the compound bow. Now I'll show you how I've got this set up. I've got it set up with armor piercing arrows. I've got a reflex bow sight, and I have improved move speed while aiming. I haven't got enough gunpowder, unfortunately, to do more upgrades on this, but this is good enough to get you started. So it's something you might not think about doing for stealth, or maybe you have, but certainly a lot of fun, but it takes a while to kind of dial it in, and you'll see by the footage in a second. I'm not perfect at it, but well, playing around with it for 5-10 minutes, I could actually be very effective and very stealthy using this method. Okay, so here is a practice. I'm going to chuck a perception grenade over the fence, light everybody up, and I'm just going to start using the bow. And you'll see, as long as you get them in the head, this thing is awesome, absolutely awesome. I'm going to send a Loso down to that guy there, like this, and he'll get him very effectively. There's another guy just around the corner here that we've identified with our precision grenade, and it's just a case of taking your time. Now this will float around a little bit, so you just got to take your time, but you can see how effective that is, and they really haven't noticed that I'm even here at this point in time. And even with when they do, you're pretty effective and pretty much off the radar. And yeah, the bow is definitely a very viable option. So there you go, guys. If you're looking for a way to play Far Cry 6 a little bit differently, or a little bit quietly, you should have a look at a number of the things that we've put out in the video today. There's lots and lots of stuff for you to play around with and find the mix that works for you. I use all of the things that I've kind of put forward today at different times, and I'm having a lot of fun. It will make taking over bases easier, checkpoints and whatnot, and yeah, you can stay off the radar. If you've enjoyed today's video, a like rating is always appreciated. If you'd like to see more of the Far Cry tips and tricks, please let me know if you've got any ideas. Make sure you're subscribed to keep up to date with everything on Gaming for XP, and we'll catch you next time on the channel. See ya!